Woo!
All right.
Hey now.
We're here.
We're
For
here.
our first episode. We are recording this time.
We are live.
We all got fantasy drafts coming up this month. We're going to kick off our first episode talking about some
And
fantasy
before
football.
we do that, let's hand out trophies to where trophies are due to be handed out. I think
Oh.
the champ who came into a league first time took
Yeah.
all y'all down.
First
But we
time you've
gotta
won a
give-
fantasy league,
Well,
right?
we got to give Brad credit because Brad won the rigged league, which
Yeah,
is
we
actually
retired the
more
rigged
hard
hockey
league. The league where the commissioner wasn't so even with the trade. So I think that one took a little more talent. But
Yeah.
anyone that had Kamara,
So-
anyone that had Kamara was going to win that.
Christmas
Yeah.
Eve Camara, baby.
lot of touchdowns that day, a lot of
Oh,
presents.
6,
And
I
the
think
shoes were sick. The shoes
Yeah.
were fucking sick.
The fine was worth it.
he was playing against the Vikings, and I think their running back that day had like 4 touchdowns. What's the
Dalvin?
dude?
Yeah.
Dalvin.
I think
Cook, man.
I know he
killed
had
it.
at least 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause-
Which if you had them both, you were in a fantasy league where nobody knew how to draft because you shouldn't be able to get Cook
I did
and
one
Kamara.
I did one for David. And I
Timo had both of them.
David, yeah, dude, he did, man.
That's why he won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
and,
took
and
out
Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes, but
yeah.
whatever. I'm
All
It
right.
was a little easy.
So
Well, I had Kelsey, not Mahomes.
we're going to go through some positions in fantasy. We're going to start off with running backs. I'm going to ask you both for a couple running backs you like, and then one or two that you don't like, and a reason why. So, Jimmy, I'll throw it to you first. Couple running backs you really like.
Well, let me tell you something, Matt. You know me, I do my homework. I do a lot of research on this kind of shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I think AP might have a big year.
Yep.
No,
You
but
still got it.
honestly, I'll tell you, man, last year
once somebody picks him up.
I was afraid to go with Chuck or Eclair last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up kind of screwing me when I did go with him because you think on that offense. So that's a guy I'm not high on. I'll tell you that much, and maybe if he's gotten bigger and he can get in from the goal line, I think that was a huge issue.
Yeah.
Also, they have tight, they got other guys, they're so creative down there that it's tough.
Yeah. He burned you last year. So there's
Yeah, he
that,
did.
it's
Yeah.
kind of
There's some bad
sticking
blood there.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't forget that shit. And obviously, though, who does Chubb? I think that's one of those guys. We've talked about that he's not really under the radar, I'd say. So
he's great, and he's also going to split time with Hunt, which is a concern.
that's
If
where
you're
it's
gonna take him,
scary.
it's a
Yeah,
concern.
who's gonna get the
Some
red zone?
touchdowns. Yeah. Some touchdowns
Yeah.
are going to get stolen. Yeah.
Well, and that was a weird part too. Is I think a Chubb is a stronger runner, and then he'd kind of be the workworkhorse. They get to the 10, and Kareem Hunt all of a sudden is getting the
Then they
ball.
bring him in, man.
You know
I
what I mean?
remember that. Yeah, he was the
Mhm.
bigger. It was crazy.
I've had both, and it's some weeks are great, some weeks suck with those two.
Yep.
But it is probably a top 3 rushing attack in the league.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
So
They had a great offensive line. Chubb's going to have a great year, but
Right.
there is the concern of Hunt,
And then
stealing some of the shine there.
another one that I'm as I look here, like Montgomery from Chicago, he came on, like he was pretty surprising because you look at Chicago, you're like, all right, but I was real surprised last year. I think Brad might have had him or somebody.
yeah, he's always
Adam.
been my baby.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, who the fuck, and he actually ended up killing it, which kind of, he was serviceable, which running back position, as long as you have one of those top guys, you're going to be winning games. So
Second half of the year, that was one I definitely thought about was Montgomery, because the second half of the year, he was the top 5 back. I mean, I'm not looking at fantasy numbers, but I would
Somewhere
guess
in
that
that
he was a
ballpark,
top
yeah.
5 to 10 fantasy running back the second half of last year.
and that's when you need that guy.
Yeah,
That's when you need that guy to kill
it
it.
doesn't
man.
matter if he's good the first 8 weeks. You want the guy for the end of the season. Yeah.
Like Gurley those few years. Yeah, the
Yeah.
same kind of deal.
And it was a perfect storm for him. It was like, Tariq Cohen gets hurt. They get an easy kind of stretch of schedule, and he's getting 30 touches a game. It's just a easy recipe for success. You don't have to be that talented.
Playing the Lions
you know
and
what
shit,
I mean?
dude.
So,
It's like, that's
right.
not too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Oh, Jimmy, how about one you don't like? One that you kind of like stay away from, or somebody you could just see you would be very hesitant to draft.
Well, as I go, I'm going here. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm going down this list with COVID. It's been a long year.
Yeah.
Guy. Okay, well I'll tell you something. A guy like and I had him last year in that one league with David, but Dalvin Cook, man, and it's not that his production isn't there, but the injuries continue to pile up for me with him, and it's like he's up here as I look as a top 3 last year, and I know that he killed it, but at the same time, we know how those running backs get the older they get. And they're running. I think they have another guy there in Minnesota as well. And I don't know if the injuries scare me with him. Guys like that.
That's hilarious because the first guy on my list of who I'm going for is Dalvin.
That you would want. Yeah.
He's great. He's great when he's healthy. He's probably the best when he's healthy.
Best, man. Yeah,
he probably is the best
awesome.
unless he gets hurt.
In that offense too. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like any of those backs. Having Madison, the backup, is
that's
key.
The dude, Madison.
And
they kind of look alike.
If you take Cook, you probably have to take Madison in the last handful of rounds of the draft. Yeah,
probably earlier than you really should have to. You know what I mean? That's kind of the one caveat to Dalvin.
You think you'd do that with Hunt? Well, you probably can't get Hunt and
that's a problem with Hunt is somewhat, you're probably talking about kind of like that year in fantasy you did where you kind of piggybacked 1-2.
Yeah. Who'd I have? That was
and it worked out for you, but it's a ballsy
D'Angelo
play.
Williams because Bell was suspended for 4 weeks.
Yep. I think with Hunt and Chubb, it's hard to take them both because you're going to end up spending 2 of your first 7 picks on a running back for the same team. And it's hard to play them both on Sunday. I mean, certain weeks you can and get lucky, but it's not a long-term.
That's
great idea.
Yeah, you're going to have to be very fucking lucky on that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is 22 points between your top 2 running backs enough every week? Yeah. Probably not,
So
that'd be one. You'd have to go 9 and then 1 or 10. And then if you have the first pick, maybe you do it again. But that wouldn't be
right.
You don't want to do that.
All right. So Jimmy, anybody else you dislike before I know, your last dislike, Brad mentioned he had him at the top of his list. Is there anybody else you dislike that you want to mention?
Maybe I'm giving you fuckers tips before the draft.
Before kicking through.
But when I'm looking the numbers on these, it's a different because it's it's overall, I think, points from the year, the way they grade it at overall. But if you look at even a guy like Fournette in the playoffs, man, for a guy that you could like and you might be able to get not so early, like he really and I'll tell you a dislike, and he's not gonna go high, but fucking damn it, Devin Singletary, that fucking Randy Moss's uncle or brother, whoever's playing running back for them, he was Singletary killed me, man.
Singletary didn't look good last year, man. I didn't even like the eye test didn't check out.
No, and you thought it would.
He didn't get anything extra on any of the plays he was given. It was crazy because the year before that I liked him, but last year, anytime I would watch Buffalo, I would think Singletary, he's just not doing a lot with a little. And in a good offense, you would think that Singletary would have his best year last year. And I would take Zach Moss before I took Singletary going into this season
because he's going to get the touchdowns if anything. Like he's going to come in then and get those touches. So that's a guy I definitely.
Singletary's another dislike.
Yeah, right. I mean if he's there, late around and but you can always use running backs. But
that's a backfield I'm probably staying away from.
Yeah,
you'd rather have another piece of the team.
Because also, I mean, you got the quarterback and he runs in a touch. Josh Allen gets a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So
probably had 10 or so last year. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Beast at it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'd definitely confidently say 8. So I know that's a big push.
Jimmy, you like a few people that I'm forgetting, and you dislike Dalvin Cook and Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
And Brad, you mentioned before that you started the top of your running backs you liked list with Dalvin Cook. Who else? You can go a little bit deeper into that or explain who else you got up there.
Yeah, honestly, the reason with Dalvin, it's just the head coach and he's just obsessed with running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those where he might get you 14 games, but if you get 14 at the right time, he's a league winner.
Yeah. And the last six, if you can count, if you know Dalvin Cook's healthy for the last six, right, he's worthy of taking in the top 5.
Which, granted, has been a big if at times. But then the next guy on my list is Joe Mixon. I think, everybody overdrafted on him last year. Kind of got burned, kind of like Tot was talking with Chocolate Eclair. But you look at Joe Burrow coming back, all those receivers, and didn't they lose? Gio Bernard, right?
Gio Bernard's on the Bucs now. Yeah.
So kind of the guy that always poached touches from him as a 3-down back is now gone. So to me, he might be there at the end of the first round. It'd be tempting.
Yeah.
And then the other guy that I'm high on is Darrell Henderson with the Rams, with Cam Akers going down with the ACL. That's just one of those offenses where having any piece of that is a win, I think, personally.
Yeah, with Stafford there now too.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be.
And he's their best option left, so he's going to get those touches. McVay likes to run the ball. I hear you there completely.
On the dislike, though, I think the one that I think you guys might be surprised, though, I had to put first on my dislike is J.K. Dobbins. I love the Ravens, but I really envision more of a two-headed monster, and with Lamar getting exactly with Gus, but with Lamar probably getting his 1,000 yards. Let's say the running backs get 1,500, 1,800 between them. Gus is probably the guy getting the carries at the goal line, not JK.
Yeah. Well, we're at the same place again where the guy you dislike is the guy I have first on my list, J.K. Dobbins, because I think they're going to try to have Lamar keep it and run a little bit less. And Mark Ingram's in Houston, which sorry about you, Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
But J.K.'s the main guy. I mean, Gus Edwards is a good back, but he's definitely second to J.K. Dobbins in that offense. Yeah. They get inside the 10. Dobbins is the guy. That team's a run-first team. I like a running back on a run-first team that I expect to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And, I just think a second-year running back in a running offense like that, they're going to work him like a fucking horse. And
I think I actually had Dobbins in a league last year.
And he came on strong, probably.
He did. Because it was one of those that I couldn't play for quite most of the year. Yeah. And then almost sounded like a douche and said quite a while. But I couldn't play him for a long time. And then towards the end, it was like one of those every week. You're like, man, I could flex this dude. You know what I mean? Like he could play running back. He could get the touchdown this week. And if he does, non-PPR league, that's the ones we've been in, it's all you need.
Yep. And I think my only argument was based on where they're being slotted to get drafted right now. I feel like a lot of people looking at JK as this 1,200 yard, 10 touchdown back, which he very well could be.
Yeah.
But you never know. So
is he that big? Is he like 3-down back?
He's a little bigger than Chocolate Eclair, not much.
Okay, yeah.
He runs with more force than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's more of a power than Edwards-Helaire's, I'd say, more finesse. Yeah. J.K. Dobbins will put his head down. He did it at Ohio State, which I know is a different story. But I remember watching him back then, and he would just plow through.
He gives you the old Mike Allstott.
Yeah.
Up
the gut.
Well, and the only pause there was Gus got that extension this offseason. And when anytime you're signing a back and guaranteeing money with your young guy, they're both going to be involved. Which maybe that's more a sleeper conversation than anything.
Even when it was Ingram, Dobbins, and Gus Edwards was still getting playing time. He's a good play. He's a good player. I just don't. I think J.K. is the guy in that backfield, and
you could hit a home run with him. If everything clicks right. So I could see it.
Yeah. And then, Brad, just before I get into what I like and dislike here, is there anybody else that you kind of would stick away from that you wanted to mention before we move on?
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, Philly. There's not a lot about the Philly offense I'd like at all.
It's kind of like all the Houston backs. I think the only person there that might have any value is tight ends and Jalen Hurts. So
yeah, Houston and Philly. I think both of those offenses I wouldn't draft anybody from.
Even though I think Jimmy's buddy Lindsey, I could see Lindsey somehow having some fantasy relevant weeks in Houston.
I've thought about that too. I've thought about that, but it's tough. It's still a risk. It's
that
a late
backfield
round flyer.
is a nightmare, right?
Where did the Eagles coach end up?
Peterson. I don't know if anybody did bring Peterson in.
They did, or maybe he took a year off or something.
Even the
like
coach
that,
they hired, I don't know too much about.
Yeah, I was just looking that up, and then it got me thinking on that. I was like, oh, I don't know where that dude.
We'll have to check with our stats guy at the break on that.
Yeah, we'll get research on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so
do her homework.
I'm moving on to my running backs. We went through J.K. Dobbins. The other guy I really like is Austin Eckler. I have high hopes for the Chargers offense this year. They're in a division where they need to score a ton of points. You got the Chiefs, who are going to put up 30 a week. You got the Raiders, who don't play much defense, so they have to score. And then, the Broncos do got a solid defense. That's something you have to think about, but that's not one good defensive divisional team is not a reason not to draft a player. Austin Eckler can do it all. He can run between the tackles. He catches the ball. He's a big play guy. They don't really have a good second option. I mean, last year
that was going to be my question,
because Justin Kelly came in last year, but that was because Austin Eckler was banged up. It's kind of the same story as Dalvin Cook. You probably are getting him picks later than you would get a Dalvin Cook with the same risk, and possibly, the same upside. Every time I see Eckler play, he's great.
And that Herbert, he was impressive last year, dude. He was fucking
incredible.
Man. I was shocked because
he almost beat the Bucks.
He did. I remember that shit,
basically.
Dude. Yeah, he really did. I think I bet
wild
on them that day. The Chargers, man. I mean, it was really. You got a football card on him like last year. Right?
Oh yeah, I invested a lot of stock in Herbie. Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
He looks so different with the haircut now. But I definitely think Eckler, especially in standard leagues, is really slept on. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where like PPR, he gets a little more love because people know he catches the pass, but they don't really think about him as a touchdown guy.
Yeah.
But we kind of saw Kelly last year. He kind of had his shot a few weeks with touches, and he didn't do much with it.
Yeah, that was another dude that pissed me off last year.
Right. So, he had one kind of week.
And it's kind of the old thing. You guys know, like, worked on my favorite player of all time. Austin Eckler's a little bit of the same style back, smaller dude. It's not that he can't run inside, but
he's more shifty,
more of a speed shift guy.
Yeah.
So, and then another guy I have high hopes for, again, not one that's going to go super high, is Antonio Gibson. He was great as a rookie. The offense is going to be better this year. They got Terry McLaurin.
It's magic, baby.
Yeah, they got a better quarterback. Terry McLaurin's a great wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then they brought in another good wide receiver this year. It's escaping me right now.
Samuels, the slot guy.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel from Carolina. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, collectively we'll get there.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, I can't even name the second back on the Redskins roster, which makes me think this dude's a workhorse. He's going to get the touches.
He will.
So that's one thing I want in fantasy. I want to know my dude's going to get the ball.
Yeah,
I think he's going to go higher than you think.
Yeah, he will. I think he's going to be going second round latest, I would say, probably. He came on, man, and I'm sure Rivera's still there. Right. That's ground and pound all day, dude. Yeah. That's what they want to do. That's what they're going to do. And I like that. That's a really good.
We all made fun of our buddy Pops for taking Antonio Gibson in the fourth round last year. And it was a great pick, dude. It was a great pick.
Son of a
we all shat on it the moment it happened.
I told him months in, November or whatever. And I'm like, because I was going down like on free agents to see who had him or whatever. And he's like, we got
a caller.
Yeah. He's like,
Pop's calling in live.
He was like, oh yeah, I saw that son of a bitch. He's going to be playing real nice. And dude, but he didn't know. Every player he picked was a fucking Redskin, dude. It was funny. So
that one worked out for him, man.
Yeah. One of them, dude. Yeah.
And then moving on to guys don't trust, and this is a personal one for me, but it's Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, and it's because they both are going to get the same thing at most Sundays. They're going to split it.
It's like that Patriots offense kind of what. I mean, they're gonna it was hard to get a running back up in New England pretty much.
You had mentioned earlier when I was bringing up Mixon too. Gio Bernard's in that mix.
Yeah,
and he to me seems like James White 2.0 almost down there.
Yeah, Brady's going to like having Bernard out there because he knows he can trust him doing the things that Ronald Jones doesn't do very good, which is catch the ball to the backfield and pass block. So Gio Bernard's going to get snaps. There's going to be weeks where Fournette has a couple touchdowns and has a great fantasy week. Ronald Jones, there's going to be weeks where he does the same, but it's unreliable knowing who's going to have the good week. So I would stay away from him, even though I love the guys,
Yeah. The only reason I would think Fournette maybe goal line, but if you know that team.
Jones is a good goal line back too, though.
Yeah, I know, man.
I mean, the Super Bowl, there's one play in the Super Bowl where it's incredible that he doesn't get in.
Is that all year they stopped him on fourth?
Yeah, on fourth down, they went for it. Yeah. He got stonewalled.
They brought in the Vita Vea.
Yep, they did.
Yeah, he kind of ran right into his.
Yeah, he ran into Vita Vea's back, which is an immovable object.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I'd stay away from those two in the Bucs backfield. Another guy I got down here is Melvin Gordon, the Broncos back. Part of this is health, and the other part of it is they used a 3rd round pick on a running back out of North Carolina, Javonte Williams, who I'm hearing a lot of buzz about. He could have a good year.
Yeah.
And this goes back to
Melvin.
Drafting a fantasy team, you're trying to look at what you're going to get out of them at the end of the year. Not the start of it. Melvin Gordon will be the guy at the start of the season, but you could see the rookie breaking off some runs and getting more and more touches as the season rolls along.
I think we're kind of all basing our stuff off of where they're getting drafted based on stuff now. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's going to change big time, but like you said, it's finding that upside where you can.
Yeah, and so you could also say Javonte Williams if you want to go after that guy in the last round of the draft. If you just want to take a stab at another running back, take the Broncos rookie, and maybe Melvin Gordon's hurt the last 3 weeks of the season, and you got a starting running back.
Yeah, and if he comes in, because I will say Gordon last year with the Broncos, he surprised me kind of because like when we signed, signing a running back of that age and everything, it's like, dude, why are we paying? We already had Phillip Lindsay, in my opinion, but I agree. When he came in and one thing that again non-PPR, the goal line shit, it's like, all right, that's where last year with Chocolate Eclair, he fucked me on because he couldn't get that extra yard, man. Like and so like Gordon, and I don't know how much points we're gonna be like the Broncos are gonna be putting up either. So you're right. He probably
that's a fair point too.
He'll probably be drafted too higher than because if Bridgewater is going to be the quarterback, then we're going to be a lot more time management, trying to just ground and pound. So unless you're good, unless we're setting the world on, unless Bridgewater turns into whoever, Peyton. Yeah. I don't know how many even looks he'll get at a touchdown. You're going to be dependent on 100-yard games and shit like that.
I did hear Locke starting this first preseason game. He was named the starter for it.
Yeah. And then Bridgewater's getting week 2 of the preseason.
Throwing him to the Wolves. Yeah. Oh, no. Locke's.
No. Do you have a read, Matt, on who do you think would be the 3rd down back in that situation? I don't know anything about Williams out of UNC. Who do you think's going to get the 3rd down?
Well, I know there was 2 North Carolina running backs drafted in the first 3 rounds.
It was Michael Carter
was taken first. Michael Carter was that pass catching back for North Carolina.
Okay.
Javonte Williams was the smasher. He was the ground and pound guy. So I think you could honestly, from what I've heard about it, you could draw comparisons about the rookie to Melvin Gordon. It's just he's young, and you'd worry less about him getting hurt.
Well, and he's surprised with his hands initially too.
Yeah, right. So. Yep. But yeah, I mean, the Broncos offense sucks. We can move on from that.
No, the reason I asked the 3rd down back was because
Tom Brady.
Hey, but if you're playing from behind, garbage time points still matter.
Yeah.
Garbage time touchdowns still matter.
We took him. It's 35th overall. It says the second round.
Oh,
was Javonte
second rounder?
I didn't
so
know.
He was
that.
second, not third. Yeah,
Wow.
so they were both really good backs out of North Carolina. I remember hearing that around the draft.
North Carolina running back, no shit.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
killing it.
We'll save the Broncos offense until I get to my top 3 quarterbacks where I got Drew locked.
No,
all right.
Whereas
you fucker, I had Bridgewater.
The third,
you're out of your mind, man.
The third running back, the third running back I want to stay away from is the Jags rookie from last year, James Robinson. He was great last year, but just thinking about a college coach, Urban Meyer, coming to NFL for the first year, he's going to run some kind of gimmicky plays. He probably drafted Travis Etienne to do that type of thing. James Robinson will get his touches, but it's probably not nearly the workload he saw last year. You're probably thinking about Etienne getting, a handful of gimmicky plays a game, as well as at least half of the third down snaps. So it's not that I don't like James Robinson. I just think he's going to get less touches. And I don't know about that offense.
I'm completely
make or break. You don't know what to think about a college coach having his first go at it in the NFL.
Wasn't Etienne a first rounder?
He was their second first round pick.
Because I remember the first thing here about him was Urban was like, immediately we're going to try him at slot receiver. So I'm thinking, oh God, this is like his Percy Harvin 2.0 here.
Is Tebow? He's at camp with him still, right? Tebow?
Yeah, he hasn't got cut yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's excited, dude. He's very excited. He's excited to be there.
Yeah.
Weirdo. Yeah, no, I'm not big on the Jags. They're a question mark in my opinion too. I don't really.
Like
nothing exciting.
Their receivers, I would take a stab on one if Shenault or Chark was there.
Chark
when it was like the 12th round or something, I'd be like, oh, nobody's taking him yet. I'll take a stab at it.
People forget Chark had 8 touchdowns a couple years ago, and the guy is 6'4". So even in a garbage time game, he gets a touchdown in 10 yards. That's a startable flex,
And Shenault was all right last year as well. They gave him carries as well as catches. So Shenault, their rookie from last year, Laviska is his first name. He's an all right player.
You had to pronounce it.
But it's a risky take.
He'd be more of a PPR guy, wouldn't you think?
And the weird one, there'll probably be 20-point weeks and 2-point weeks. So that's a rough one. But
is Lawrence supposed to start?
Lawrence will start. I'm 100% confident in that. And the other weird one that until kind of looking over some shit over the weekend, Marvin Jones, the old Lions receiver, who I've always had kind of a soft spot for, I've always liked, is in Jacksonville now. So you could see him just being the experienced receiver, getting the easy catches, because he knows where he's going to be.
Yeah, being the dude for
somebody a rookie quarterback can trust
for Lawrence, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be able to. Yeah, because dude, there were times, and he'd always end up on the waiver wire every year, and you're like, I could use him for a week, and that week he'd give you 2 points. I
remember. There was a year he had 3 touchdowns for me on Thanksgiving one year, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, what a pickup, dude!" Yeah. and then I probably used him the week after, and I lost.
Right. That's what I would always do with that guy. I would lose.
He's the king of the bye week.
Yeah. So I think actually Marvin Jones might be a good segue into sleeper wide receivers. Brad, I'll throw it to you first on this one. Just receivers that are going to go late that you like.
Oh shit, let's see.
Receivers you like the late rounds.
Yeah, hang on here.
And I'll make sure to note these so I can take them ahead of you in our fantasy draft.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is all fucking set up so where Isaac can get an insight.
Nah. Here, I'm pulling up some random rankings here. I'll say one that I'm never a fan of, and that might not be even the question you asked, but in standard leagues, Keenan Allen, to me, gets drafted way too high.
Mm-hmm.
He's looked at as the primary guy, but people forget Mike Williams in a standard league, a lot of times when healthy, produces just as well.
Touchdowns. Mike Williams is more of a touchdown guy.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's,
that to do with the dreads.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. He's like real tall, but he kind of gets hurt all the time. But he seems just like a guy, if healthy, that would be kind of, I guess, on the reverse side, a guy I would take, Mike Williams. If he stays healthy, he seems built for Herbert. Just a tall vertical threat. That would be an underrated one, I guess, for sure. I'd be looking at. God, here I got to go back to the list now.
I'm thinking, Danny Amendola gets not enough credit. I don't think.
Oh yeah, very, very underrated.
He doesn't get drafted. Period. A lot, does he?
Yeah, it's bullshit, dude. He's out there. I mean, I don't think the guy's a player though, man. He's out there. He's trying. Yeah. He puts together a good work.
Yeah, we've all seen him play live. Surely in St. Louis.
Oh, dude, I remember
what an athlete,
dude. I had the first. I swear to God. The first game of the year, game one, Bradford's first game, maybe. I don't know about that, but we're going to the Dome. They're kicking off the ball, first kickoff of the year, and we have Danny. I go, wait, whoa, we got a white dude. Like the first week of the season, we have a white dude returning our opening kickoff.
Because we were
like, what the fuck?
And he's not a kick returner guy either.
Dude, I was like, what are we doing? Yeah. Like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, best Danny Amendola moment was when he caught that touchdown. I don't even remember. I think he still played for the Rams at the time, but he spiked it off the ground and it bounced up and hit an old dude like right in the face. Basically knocked the old dude out.
Yeah. He was like, he's a good football player, but yeah, I just thought that was funny. When I'm looking through, I was like, Danny Amendola, dude.
I couldn't tell you who he's playing for.
No,
I know it's not the Lions anymore.
You think he's still in the league?
I don't think so.
I think somebody, you know what?
Let's get
research on this. Edelman did retire.
Well, we'll contact our research department at the break here.
We'll get a Danny Amendola update shortly after this. But Brad, you mentioned, how you didn't like Keenan Allen. You liked Mike Williams as a potential sleeper. Other wide receivers that are just kind of you take in later rounds that you like,
He's probably not going later rounds like you're talking, but I think he could as Juju. I think people got so burned on Juju.
Last year. They're scared to take him.
And it's like you're forgetting the 2 years he had before that were pretty dominant. And they got Deontay Jordan and
Deontay Johnson and James Washington and Chase Claypool is the number one guy. I would say
Washington just requested the trade.
Really? Didn't hear about that. I got an update. Breaking news. Danny Amendola still wants to play this season, according to
That's
Google.
A shocker.
Hoping to sign with the team. There we go.
Get Brady on the phone, dude. That's his next guy. He's got to pull out of fucking retirement or like contemplating it.
Yeah.
God, if he even needed him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's good on that front.
But yeah, I think Juju would be one that, he's got an established connection with Big Ben. If Big Ben's right, you're looking at a guy you could get in the 8th, 9th round. That could be a strong flex wide receiver too for you.
And he's a yards after catch, dude. I probably would like Juju more in standard leagues than PPR.
Yeah. That's I've been basing all my stuff tonight
just on standard.
Yeah.
That's what we all prefer. We've talked to each other enough to know that.
Yeah.
So Jim, a wide receiver, probably that plays for the Broncos that you would take in the later rounds.
I got one there for you. I think I took him last year.
Yeah. I might have the same guy on my list.
Jerry Judy, obviously, dude.
I was waiting for the JJ call out.
He's almost too good for me to consider a sleeper.
Yeah,
I think he's that good that it's hard for me to.
He had a bad start last year. He dropped some balls and he was just kind of the yips, he was. But if he can get that shit under control, he's a good, I don't know. He's just I think if he can become reliable, then we'll be all right. And with Cortland Sutton coming back, who was another guy I was going to say who definitely, won't with you assholes, but is going to be slept on, I think, because he won't be up there. People are going to forget he got hurt, forget kind of what he had done.
Some people forget completely about him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They're going to be like, oh shit, I forgot that dude. Cause if you don't know the Broncos, man, or you know, you don't want to talk shit to me, you don't really pay attention to that shit.
Right.
So, yeah, I definitely think that. As I go through here too, see, there's interesting ones like that. That do like AB. Like, what do you? I mean, as a Bucks fan, how do you feel about him?
I would take him late. I would probably actually be more likely to take AB instead of Chris Godwin or Mike Evans, just based on where I'm going to get AB. I'm going to get AB like later on in the draft, where if I'm going to get Godwin or Evans, I got to use one of my first third or fourth round picks on a Godwin or an Evans.
Yeah, Godwin, least. Obvious. Yeah. That's
So I would take AB if he was sitting around there late,
Yeah. I'm trying to go through these too. Like when you look at some like Julio Jones, like he could be a huge difference maker there.
And he'll go lower than the top 12 picks, which is where Julio used to go.
Yeah. So, like people got high on him for a while and then, went in. So that's another interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
But how funny wouldn't it be? He goes to Tennessee and all of a sudden he becomes a touchdown monster. The whole thing that escaped him his whole career.
Yeah, 14 touchdowns.
That's what I mean, dude. Yeah, like fucking because they got other. I mean, they got what's the other receiver they got? And he's good.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, he's almost a mini Julio. He really is.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
One even talks about that was like his idol.
Yeah, he wore his jersey before one of the games a few years ago when they were playing against the Falcons.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit. So
yeah.
So, yeah, dude. And then I'll go up here going through the people that, are going to get drafted and, you don't think so much of, I guess you could say. I always think Allen Robinson, and then he ends up putting together a year that you're like, that was serviceable. And
he'll be drafted pretty high, though, I think still.
Yeah, that's what I personally,
he's a good receiver. It's the Trubisky thing, man.
That plus, like, dude, that division you play. I mean, so you're playing in a lot of outdoor, cold weather stadiums at the end of the year and shit.
Late in the season, it's hard to know where and what's going to be going on.
As a receiver, if your last 3 games are in fucking, at home, and then you got to go to Green Bay or something, that also scares me a little bit.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
That worries me.
Well, and also you're thinking I would think Terry McLaurin is going in about that same spot as Allen Robinson.
Which one would you rather have?
I'd much rather have Terry Mack, I think.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
But
he came on last year. I don't know if
Robinson's got the track record.
That's what scares me.
I had McLaurin last year, given I got him pretty late last year because he was less known before the season he had last year. But that's a real toss-up, McLaurin or Robinson.
Tough, right.
I think most people would say Robinson, but you could be right either way. Yeah.
Yeah. For that, I'd probably go Robinson, but that's one that's
the only reason I was asking. That'd be an unfair trade. How much you liked him? You know what I mean?
That is a good decision to throw out there because that's a tough one. That's got me kind of spinning.
I just love Fitzmagic, so. Yeah. Even though he'll get hurt because
he's great. He's
first,
incredible to watch.
3rd and 1.
Yeah.
And I think Tyreek Hill is gonna rape or beat another kid, so don't draft him.
So he's undraftable. You got him off your big board. He's off your big board.
He's off the small board.
Mahomes is too.
Character issues.
Yeah.
All right. So receivers, I like late in rounds. One guy that some people might not know about, Bryan Edwards on the Raiders. I think he's going to be their go-to guy this year. Ruggs, they drafted in the first round last year. Ruggs is not like a reliable move the chains guy. Ruggs is like a 2 or 3 deep shot a game guy. That's what I saw last year. Yeah. When Edwards was healthy last year, I saw a receiver that Gruden loved going back to watching like Keyshawn Johnson and Keenan McCardell.
Yeah, he's that big body dude.
He's a big dude. He's reliable. How Gruden is going to design plays on 3rd down, I guarantee Bryan Edwards is going to be a target on a lot of these plays. I've seen pictures of him in training camp. He looks like a monster. I think Bryan Edwards is going to be the go-to guy in Oakland this year, and I think you can get him, anywhere from like the 8th to the 10th round.
Damn.
So I think I think that's a guy that I'm going to highlight in every draft. You guys are aware of it now. We're in fantasy leagues together.
Right.
My other leagues, I'm not speak his name until I really want this dude.
Okay,
do they still have Tyrell Williams there though?
No, he's moved
gone?
on. Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't tell you where he is, but he's no longer on the team. So it's their receiving core is Renfro, Ruggs, Brian Edwards, and then you got Waller, obviously, because they're tight end. He'll get a lot of targets, but I think Brian Edwards is that outside guy that's gonna get the easy catches. And Darren Waller almost is a better point for that, because if you're gonna double anybody, it's gonna be Waller.
Yeah, definitely, especially
Edwards on the outside.
Yeah, not right away. Dude. Like it might, and then once they have to start game planning for both, then you got something going for you for that dude either way. Yeah,
I really like this kid.
Well, yeah, right. I'm telling you what, man. Like that's why
I feel you over there, Kuiper.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. Yeah,
but it makes sense because if you remember early in the season last year with the Raiders, Tyrell had like 3 or 4 startable. He went on a crazy run of touchdowns.
He had like 3 touchdown games right off the bat. So like 3 games, 3 touchdowns.
That role for a 10th, 11th, 14th round, whatever. Yeah, you're probably looking at a home run there.
Yeah. So another one I like based off just eye test, what I saw last year is Tim Patrick on the Broncos.
Yeah, dude.
Cortland Sutton is coming back, but Tim Patrick is a guy some people might not even think about drafting. And he was incredible last year, dude. He really was.
Big body.
He looked like a tight end. He's a wide receiver.
He's like 81, kind of light skinned.
He filled in for he filled in for like that role that we needed. We didn't have the Sutton. We didn't have a guy. Yeah. Judy was out there dropping balls, and he was reliable, dude. He had some big catches for the Broncos last year. I
forgot about him.
I think he might have had one of the better catch of the year when Locke hit him in the back of the end zone, and it was I think it was to Tim Patrick, but I could be wrong on that one. But I like that.
It's kind of simple. Every time I turned on a Broncos game last year, Tim Patrick was killing it. Like he was outperforming Jerry Jeudy. I would draft Jerry Jeudy before I drafted Tim Patrick, but I think like Tim Patrick is a guy that could possibly go undrafted in some of these leagues. And if I'm sitting there with my last pick or my pick, I need to fill in before drafting a kicker in defense. This is a guy I'd look at and be like, I'll take a stab at this dude. Who else am I going to get at this point?
Hey, now playing devil's advocate, what do you think if Locke is the starter there? What do you think about Cortland Sutton?
It's tough because I think I would stay away from Cortland Sutton as much as I was impressed by him 2 years ago, because I think Jeudy, I like Jeudy a lot this year too. I don't have him here because I don't consider him a sleeper. I kind of consider him a stud in the making.
He's getting hyped a lot in camp too.
So
it's
tough, man. And I mean that you could argue that's a reason to question the Tim Patrick thing. I'm just saying, like, nobody else might draft this dude. And last year, everything I saw from him, he was killing it.
Yeah.
So
you probably took the deepest dive into deep sleepers. Yeah. But I it's funny that we kind of had forgotten about that dude almost a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Patrick, man. Yeah.
Talking about wide receivers in a different sense. Let's just narrow it down to like who some of like your very top guys are. The wide receivers that are going to get the most touchdowns. So last year we had Devontae Adams. He had 18, which is more than a touchdown a game. We had Tyreek Hill second with 15 a game. Nobody else was really that close to Devontae. And I had a couple guys that DK Metcalf is the first guy I got on my list, mainly because Seattle doesn't have a lot of receiver targets, especially not another red zone guy. Tyler Lockett can do it.
Yeah,
they don't have a tight end they don't have a tight end unless one kind of breaks out of nowhere. John Hollister beat the Bucs in overtime a few years ago. I hope he's not on the roster anymore. I hope he's not in the league. Mike Evans is the other.
He's a used car salesman.
that was fucking personal. Mike Evans is the other guy I got. He had 13 last year in what I would consider last year to be a down year for Mike Evans.
Yeah.
If Brady gets on touch, like on the same page as Mike Evans, as I think they can be, Mike Evans can score a touchdown a game. when they get down in the red zone. He's going to be the first guy Brady really wants to look to. I mean, there's going to be plays where Gronk gets it. Godwin can do it too. But as far as a guy you can just chuck it up to in the red zone, if you get a one-on-one matchup, that's what Mike does. Like as good as anybody in the league, really.
I look early on with the Bucs. I just had him in a lot of leagues.
Seeing that Mike Evans had 13 last year, I could see him boosting that total by a lot. And that number going up to over a touchdown a game. 16 or more touchdowns for Mike Evans isn't like an impossibility.
I agree with you that 16 would actually be very realistic.
Yeah.
I just think Devontae is going to blow anybody out of the water.
Yeah, because Rodgers is so good at getting them the ball.
And they're both already talking about the whole last dance, because they're both up for kind of contracts after this. Yeah. It's just, and I have a bit of a rooting interest in the keeper league with Devontae, but I just don't see it changing. Yeah.
Being a Bucs fan, the Packers are the team I'm more worried about than anybody else in that NFC. Yeah, I mean, you could say the Rams. The Rams are a little bit of a question mark. 49ers, a little bit of a question mark. The Packers are what they were last year. And
they got that chip on their shoulder now.
Yeah, and we beat them in the playoffs last year. I know how personal Rodgers takes
at home, dude. At home,
yeah. I'd be worried about seeing that dude in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, and he's just shown too that he's not afraid to throw to Devontae 20 times a game if need be.
Yeah. He can do it and win with it. Yeah,
and I know they got Randall Cobb, but I don't think Randall Cobb and Robert Tonyan are going to take.
Yeah, Lazard will get a few catches here and there, but
yeah.
All right. So, Jimmy, wide receivers, most touchdowns. I'm sure Tyreek Hill is at the top of your list.
Yeah, he definitely is. A fucking
and Kelsey,
child beaters and fucking assholes. No, Brett, I'm going through the numbers, dude, and one dude that definitely stands out though is DeAndre Hopkins, man. I think Hopkins kind of had more of like a get used to it year with Murray down there in Arizona. Agree. And like now I think like I had him and he was just, man, it was like they were good, but it almost, I think they both know they can be better. And I think given another year and the timing and all that kind of stuff, I really think I definitely think Hopkins could have a huge year in there. And I was looking at hold on, let me go back to this. I was looking at his stats from last year, and he had the numbers weren't as high nearly as I thought they could be. It was
and he had a good year. If you had him in fantasy, he had a pretty good year.
Really good year, but not like he wasn't top of the league, which I get that. No. But the dude is so dedicated that I find it hard to believe that like he doesn't look at Devontae and be like, dude, why aren't we doing that? And I think isn't Kyler Murray like, I think he's the same way. I think that they're like, dude, we can be that, man. And so,
I like that pick. And plus, DeAndre has that experience playing with a mobile quarterback. He did it with Deshaun in Houston. He's used to those extended plays and just finding a way to get somewhere.
And he's got great hands, man. That Hail Mary he caught. And he's just real. Yeah. So that would be definitely my pick if I was going to go from one of these dudes. And then, yeah, dude, and it's just because, man, the way it ends up working with Thielen, man, like him and fucking Cousins, man, like he ends up getting looks, and I don't know why, but he does, and so you never know when it comes to touchdowns. Now that there's 17 games too, it's like, dude, there could be. You know what I mean?
That's true, but I think actually Justin Jefferson, the rookie from last year, is better at the same thing than what
they're. I mean, right here on this list, they're 6 and 7 on this fantasy ranking. So I was just thinking because Thielen's the older dude, he might have that more like the confidence, and Jefferson probably will be getting done. Like he's going to be. I mean, I think he is a better right receiver. Like, I mean, I think we can agree.
Yeah, Jefferson is a better receiver, but
he's
Cousins could
number one.
Decide I'm going to go to Thielen, the dude I know in the red zone.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of like what you were saying with, even though I'd say Evans is their best receiver, but like, just kind of you got the options, and someone gets hot, dude. You could have 3 in a game or whatever. I remember, the I think it was Moss's nephew or whatever. That was a dude at LSU doing the 4-1. I think that was the college game though, right, Brad?
you're thinking Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and he was doing.
He kept counting up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who's now at Cincy with Burrows.
Okay. All right. Well, my bad.
They both. Yeah. I think they both did that because they both won the championship with LSU,
and they both were
Jefferson and Chase were both on that.
Yeah. Well, fucking.
There's a lot of touchdowns scored in that offense.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know a guy like that because you never know with those touchdowns. And again, with the extra game, dude, that's 4 more quarters of football and blowouts and that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a wide receiver could have 20 touchdowns this year. If
really
had 18 and 16 games, somebody could get 20 and 17 games.
Devontae didn't play the full 16 actually last year. He only, I think, played 14 or 15. So
and to throw out one more too, Robert Woods, as I go down here again with Stafford, with that offense, dude, that could be another one. You know, you never know, like just how he's gonna.
I've always loved Robert Woods. The most touchdowns, I think, is a real long shot just because how creative McVay is in the red zone.
That's a good point.
It's not like you're going to – it's not like you have a go-to receiver. McVay's just kind of trying to go to whoever the play is designed for. It's not like a go-to guy.
Right, I got you. Yeah.
You know? So I think we spent enough time on receivers. Let's go to quarterbacks, and we don't got to spend a ton of time on this, but just – the top 3 quarterbacks you would take in fantasy. A lot of us would probably wait until later rounds to draft a quarterback. You're not worried about having a number 1 or 2 guy.
So are you saying like when you see quarterbacks start coming off the board?
I'm just saying like regardless of where you're going to take a quarterback, these are the guys you would take before anybody else, second to anybody else, and third. Okay. Doesn't matter where they're going to get drafted.
Right on.
I think these are just the top 3 quarterbacks you want. So we're probably going to have 2 of the 3 same guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Brad, go ahead and kick us off. You mentioned maybe a Burrow sighting here.
Oh, I'm not that crazy yet. At least with number 1, I'm gonna go a homer pick here after I bashed on my boy Dobbins. But I think Lamar, just the running potential. It's the only offense that embraces that kind of freelance running
built around it.
Yep. You know, I mean, you hear about like Kyler, Josh Allen, like those offenses want them to run less, and Baltimore almost like embraces him running more. So that's always a monster in fantasy. Mahomes, you got to put that cocksucker second. I mean, you hate him, but fucking
put him anywhere.
Hey, if you want 50
put him in the dirt,
put him in a different division if you had your choice.
Right, dude, exactly. Yeah, that's what I need to do, man.
Why didn't the Bears fucking draft you?
Yeah, dickheads. What are they doing, man?
No, my third one, though, I think is going to be weird. I think Tannehill is going to have a bigger season than people think. Everybody loads the box on Henry, but with A.J. Brown and Julio.
More options. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
they lost their first
Smith.
tight end, Jonnu Smith. They still got that Ferkser dude. Did they get anybody else to kind of replace the tight end that you know
not
of?
At all.
It's just Ferkser.
Now they still do have that Humphreys, that little white guy.
Oh, he used to play for the Bucks, dude. They used to call him third down hump.
And he's I could see him being a sleepy like PPR pick, but Tannehill's put up good numbers for a few years now.
He's been one of the best the last 2 years. It's crazy to think about it that way.
You know, and you keep like denying it, but eventually it is what it is.
Fucking Tannehill.
Fucking Tannehill.
All right.
Can you believe it, dude? How the hell did that Gruden loved him though, didn't he?
Yeah, he loved it. Yeah. Gruden loved everybody in the fucking QB camp.
Well, that's true.
I just can't believe I'm saying Tannehill in the top 3 and I'm not getting mocked, but it's like, hey, that's where we are at.
It's fucked up, man. Hey, the fucking Blue Jays are good. The experts.
Yeah. How Rays Red Sox update? Where are we at?
I'll give you that in a sec. Hold on. Let me just keep going. Yeah.
All right. Well, here, I'm going to go through my top 3 quarterbacks here. I actually, as much of a Mahomes homer I am, I got Josh Allen number 1 because I think he runs the ball for more touchdowns.
That's where I had
and can do about the same thing passing. That passing game in Buffalo is lethal. They got 3 really good receivers. They got Diggs, They got Emmanuel Sanders now, and Gabriel Davis, the rookie last year,
and
was really nice.
They have a decent tight end there too.
Dawson Knox is their tight end I know of. He's all right. Yeah.
Bad. Yeah.
But I just think, I mean, Josh Allen was so good last year, and the fact that like anywhere inside the 10, if he tucks it and runs, he's probably going to get in there because he's such a big boy.
Big dude. You know? Yeah. And he's quick, man. You can't bring him down.
That's kind of, you got to love. Yeah. That like that anytime they get deep, he just takes off, you know, like that.
He ain't scared at all.
The minute the defense turns their back to him.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Yep. But yeah.
He's Fitzpatrick in like a fucking Giant's body. Yeah. Fitzpatrick will tuck it and run, but can't really get through anybody. Josh Allen can actually finish the run, you know. He's got the same balls, just a bigger body. But the second on my list, Pat Mahomes, just because he could throw for 50 touchdowns. It's just the way the offense is. They're gonna put up 30 points a game. So I got him number 2. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Pat Mahomes. We all know what he is.
Yeah, don't.
And then third on my list, I got a little bit of a dark horse. Justin Herbie. Justin Herbert is my quarterback. I like this pick because he's going to have to score points for the Chargers to win games. They're in a division. They're going to play 2 games against the Chiefs. I mentioned it earlier. The Raiders don't play shit for defense. Justin Herbert threw for like 31 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in like 10 games last year. So if you think about how much he did last year in a limited amount of games.
With not much around him.
Yeah. With not a lot of practice and not a huge receiving core. I like Justin Herbert. I've invested enough money in his football cards where I'm going to put him number 3 on my list.
Might as well, man.
So, Jimmy, let's move on to your quarterbacks. I'm sure Drew Lock is going to get an appearance here.
Well, if Carson Wentz hadn't gotten hurt, he was up there for me because I think, he had a good shot to be one of the best in the league. No, but for real, Josh Allen, dude. Like, so I'll be, fuck Kyler Murray then, man. Like I was talking about. Fucking
risky but big upside, man. For sure.
Yeah, dude. The running, like we were talking about with Allen. The problem is he's not as big, but he's got the arm, and with a guy like Hopkins, I think he could be up there. So I would say him. And I'm trying to stay away from the obvious. So like, with Lockett and fucking
DK,
yeah, you got to go with Russ too, man. He
always does it.
And
it's fucked up how he wins games because at
the end of every game, like that's the best part of fantasy, dude. It's chilling, and then by the end of the game, you're like, all right, fourth quarter time, my quarterback's down by 2, dude. Now here come the points, dude. Like they're gonna start chucking it, and there's no one better at really under the gun doing it like that than him. So I think he would be my next. And then again, though, I'm trying to. Well,
wait, I'll hold you right there. It's like that. You were speaking of the Russell Wilson end of the games. It's like that game you started Chris Carson over TJ Lockett or Tyler
Lockett.
Was
cool, man. Yeah,
and Chris Carson
total in the golf
dominated.
I remember this shit.
Scored 5 points when you needed about 10.
God,
and that was a rough fantasy night.
No. I remember
that one.
I didn't start fucking Carson, and I started Lockett.
Oh, it was the other way around.
Lockett didn't have a catch.
Yeah.
And Chris Carson scored a touchdown that night.
And you would have won.
I would have made the play. I had to win to go into the playoffs. And he didn't fucking have a touch. Yeah, so fuck off.
All right, glad I brought that up. All right, sorry to
thanks, man.
Hey,
sorry to kind of jump in the middle of that there.
Didn't they replace? Don't they have a new OC this year? In Seattle?
Yeah. Who was the old one? What's his name? I mean, it's a coaching name. It's Schottenheimer. The Schottenheimer son, isn't it?
I thought they moved on from him to somebody else.
Well, I'm saying it was Schottenheimer last year, and they brought in somebody new this year.
Right. So
maybe they'll be. I mean, does that make them more willing to pass the ball?
I was thinking
more
often
or less?
That makes Russ probably a better. But I mean, they seem pretty conservative last year.
I think that's Pete Carroll, though, dude. I think Pete Carroll, being a defensive dude, is just like
fucking
just stay close, and we can win it in the end, which has worked for him. So it's hard to go against that mindset.
Yeah,
but the
It worked
talent's on
for
the
him to a point.
I just
point.
dude, they're Metcalf and fucking Lockett, man. I've had,
I agree.
they're just to me. And again, I didn't want to repeat the same guy, that you guys had said.
No, but neither of us had Wilson.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, and like Josh Allen, though, I was gonna say that would be my first.
Yeah.
Really, it would. But
well, and I'm
and
sure
really
we all think
in Mahomes too. I just fucking hate. I would not. I can't. Like Yeah. So
I understand.
Yeah, those three though. I love Brady because he whooped his ass in the Super Bowl last year too,
and
man.
If you can get Brady or even like a Rodgers like way later than the dudes we're talking about, it's a good pick, man. It
Rodgers
depends
might
where
have
you're
a crazy
taking him.
good year too.
Yeah.
Even a Stafford, I'd throw in the same category. Stafford will be putting up points.
Surprise.
Yeah, I think Rodgers will have a big year.
Like I'm in a 2 quarterback league, and I'm already thinking Stafford will be that nice mix for that number 2.
Yep. All right. So, that covers fantasy. We're going to have a draft in about a month. Let's take a little break because actually that took up a good chunk of time. Let's take a little break here. I'm going to pause the recording.
I feel like timing was perfect almost.